6 p.m. and your favorite talk show is back on your screens. Go to your social media platform and tell your friends to tell their friends to tell their other friends that the stage right now belongs to Trending SA. For the next 30 minutes, we will be checking out the latest hashtags right here on SABC3. The stage is yours. You know the drill. I don't roll alone. I have with me the A-team, the best of the best of the best in the business at the edge of the table, right there. Umamaga hip and hop. How are you, my Charlie's angel?
I'm good. How you doing?
Ah, you should have said, I'm good, Charlie.
I'm good,
with
Charlie.
That outfit. And right there, in sort of like the middle of the table,
sort of like
looking extra orange, is the fabulously awesome Refilwe Mbakanyane.
I mean, you need to stand out from time to time.
No,
why not, right?
Lalele,
Yeah.
you are standing out tonight. Bakubone Cape Town. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, manene na manenekazi, we have with us an independent analyst and a social commentator extraordinaire. Twitter's fave. This guy right here always dishes out the best commentary on all issues that matter. Even abantu on Facebook know him. You know how long it takes for things to get there. They know him. Kaya Stole, everybody. How are you?
I'm shocked that people on Facebook are also human, you know? So
You're
I have to
FB
go back there, I have to
certified.
be accepted, and I don't want to be tainted by
No,
this.
it takes a while before abantu Facebook catch on to things. So you've penetrated that market.
Well, I used to think that people on Facebook were very cerebral in that they want to go into deep thoughts and all of that. While Twitter, on the other hand, it's really just, the hype, the moment for the now. So you have to be very, very fast on Twitter. But on Facebook, you can actually engage in longer conversations. So I still think that the Facebook audience is very cerebral, guys.
What a defense of FB.
Can you imagine?
Kaya, come through. I love
Can
it.
you imagine? I don't even remember when last I was on Facebook, but it's cool.
It's
You got
still
it
there.
clearly.
It's still there.
I love it.
So does anybody at your firm know that you're Twitter and Facebook famous?
Well, yeah, I'm sort of independent in every way. So I work for myself. I do not have a boss. We've tried the whole boss thing, but I think I'm far too independent-minded for anyone to say, where are you at 8 a.m.? I'm like, but God said I can do anything I want. So the whole work thing doesn't work for me. So I actually work for myself.
Okay.
I do a lot of writing. Primarily, I write these days, and I also do a bit of radio stuff, yeah.
Just a little bit.
Yeah,
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
And of course, this is not necessarily an interview. What we asked you here for is this. It's time for Top Trends. Pew, pew, pew. In times of darkness, when we need a guiding light in South Africa, we rarely ever have one, right? A lot of things are happening in this country. Everyone keeps thinking and asking, where in the world? Where is Begicele?
Upvel.
Oh, Pivele. That's a very, very good question. And I'll tell you why. A man is found carrying his mother's decapitated head. And of course, the thing that comes up is that hashtag, where is Begicele?
Such a chilling story.
You know what scares me about the story? When you slaughter a cow, right, you figure out how intensive and how difficult it is to sever a head off. And so for me, this is an intentional, horrific thing to do, especially to your own mother. Like, I just don't know anymore, guys. I really don't know. Kaya, what do you make out of this?
We are a sick society. I think that's the reality. But I suppose for me, when I saw something like that, like where is Begicele, it's probably reflective of the general loss of faith in law enforcement agencies that a lot of us have.
Sure.
In that you're looking at, like, at some point in time, maybe we lost the ability to be horrified by the things that should horrify us. So if somebody says that a woman was raped by 11 men last week, that was last week's story. We've forgotten about it today. There's another story. Tomorrow there'll be another story. And just that ability for us to actually reflect and say none of these things should be happening. I think it's something that reflects just how deep the crisis of crime is in South Africa. And the question of where's Begicele, I actually thought of where in the world is Carmen Sandiego when we were young. But I think obviously it is reflective of the fact that people are really desperate out there for some element of law enforcement to say this is where we draw the line. None of these things should be happening, because every day there's one story or another. You are horrified about this today, you'll hear about something else tomorrow.
Well, it's a never-ending avalanche, right, of things that horrify horrify us, and that's the unfortunate bit about it. Yeah.
So something else that popped up on the timeline, the very sexy John Boyega popped up on my Twitter feed, and oh boy, here we go again. So the story goes as follows. Last year, the London-born actor and activist John Boyega was chosen as the first male global ambassador of the luxury brand Jo Malone. The Star Wars actor conceptualized, directed, featured in a Jo Malone ad referencing his personal narratives to launch the campaign.
Now, this morning, John Boyega says he was surprised to learn that the luxury brand reshot the commercial with the same concept, using a model of Chinese ancestry, wow, to appeal to the Asian market. You got to take a look at these two videos. Unbelievable.
As far as I can.
That is quite a lit song.
Of course, was John Boyega conceptualized. Don't underestimate my boy.
I was dancing. That is rude.
They didn't even try to hide it. Do you know what I mean? You know when you're asked to copy your friend's homework, you can't do the exact
You need a
same
mistake
thing.
or two.
That is
That was so
rude.
terrible. So the luxury brand has since apologized for the so-called misstep, and John Boyega has subsequently relinquished his position as the brand ambassador.
All right. So basically, them being rude and erasing him from the commercial caused a lot of social media outrage, and this is what Tweeps had to say. Right? So we've got SD or not.
Sure.
Dynot. S Dynot says hashtag Jo Malone just saw the advert 100% disrespectful. I did say it was rude.
Yes.
And during these times, as a global brand, it is your duty to help educate other countries who are blinkered. Use your presence for good.
Spot on.
Then we have another tweet. This one is responding to The Guardian. It's black and cracked. That's weird. Black don't
'Cause
crack.
black don't crack.
Yeah, just to clarify, erasing black faces from an advert is not a misstep or an oversight or a mistake. Hashtag Jo Malone, John Boyega.
So I guess this might be a perfect opportunity to discuss not just creative IP, but also where do these big companies, these multinationals, get the guts to disrespect
The guts.
and even exploit creatives? I mean, I'm going to start. I want to start with you, Kyle. It's just
Think about it.
unbelievable.
The concept of disrespecting someone assumes that you respected that person and their identity or their culture to begin with.
Sure.
So if you didn't have that to begin with, for you, it's simply a matter of, oh, this is what I want. It doesn't matter what it really means for the person who's now being displaced. And of course, it is quite painful because now you're seeing that this is actually reflective of the fact that they just don't think that that face is the type of thing that they want to be associated with in a particular market.
Thanks for your concept, your life story. We'll use it all and then just whitewash
But
everything.
you just don't look the right color. And of course, this is the very definition of racism. The problem is that you have individuals who are sitting in 2020 still coming up with these concepts and actually pushing them through from start to finish until it makes its way into the public arena. It's clicks all over again, and you always think back, wasn't there one single person in the room who said, wait, hold on, what the hell are we doing?
I don't think they care that much. I don't even think that, they're bothered. I think it's because they have power. They have the media. They have the money to do it. You are just a small little John Boyega.
And who are you when you go to court? You can wake up with Johnny Cochran and go to court. They've got an entire floor of lawyers, and they will drag you there for years and years and years, so they know that they can get away with it.
Sure, so cynical.
Yeah.
Moving on to another hashtag, which is tipped to be the next big story in the country. You're going to love this. You're definitely going to love this. It's hashtag Norma Gigaba. The estranged wife of former Minister of Finance wasn't caught yesterday following an arrest for alleged criminal injury, which means willful injury to someone's dignity as well as malicious damage to property in July.
Her legal team is challenging the rationality and the legality of the warrant of her arrest. The team, including advocates Dalimpofu and Tembeka Ngukaitobi, argued in an urgent court application that the arrest by the Hawks was an orchestrated scheme to intimidate, bully and to gain unlawful access to her devices. Her case has been postponed to the 23rd of October. Guys, this is getting juicier by the minute. How do you guys see this playing out? Also, I must say, she looked gorgeous. gorgeous, that suit.
Oh, okay. That's one thing
I'm
to
that
reflect on.
person, yes.
Yeah.
You are that person. Can I just say, I'm so glad that Advocate Mpofu and Toby are on the case, because I don't believe that with them at the helm, this is going to disappear quietly, right? I need someone to make me understand how a Directorate for Priority Crimes gets involved in a so-called conspiracy to commit murder. Maybe there's something you know, Kaya, that I don't get.
Look, priority is what you and I think is a priority for us.
Wow.
But remember, the important thing here is that, remember, earlier on we were talking about ways where serious crimes are being committed and law enforcement agencies are invisible. This particular unit is supposed to be dealing with serious crimes. And no matter how expensive a Mercedes-Benz is, scratching one, whether you're doing a lot of passion or out of fear, can never be a serious crime.
Scratching
they should have
a
been there in
$3
the
million
first place.
rand car is not a commercial crime. It's not embezzlement.
Well, there could be some
It's
commercial
not
element when the insurance
in
comes
fact,
in, so maybe there's a commercial aspect. But no, they should have been there.
She didn't do it
I'm
now.
not sure about that. I like Mercedes-Benz, so I did feel a bit sorry for the car. But I
Get
do
him where
think
it
that
hurts.
we have to reflect on the fact that there is still clearly an element of abuse of process here.
Sure.
In that, at the end of the day, Malusi Gigaba is actually a private citizen. Not that to say if he was a minister, this would be justified, but this is a
Yeah.
private citizen. How do his domestic disputes actually warrant the attention of the hawks in any form? So I think this is just what happens when politicians get to overreach and they think they are immune from the laws that govern all of us.
Kaya, thank you so much for coming through. You were a well of knowledge, and we drank from it, and we are full.
Sure.
You know?
Letting me out. Wow.
After the break, we sit with feminist activist Yolanda Dyantyi. You do not want to miss this.
Welcome back to Trending SA. South Africa is dealing with a pandemic, but we also have, that's COVID-19, but we're also dealing with a GBV epidemic here at home. As I sit here right now, and I can give you 10 names of women that I know personally who are victims of gender-based violence. Women such as these.
I was 5 years old when the first man raped me. I had just turned 13 when it happened again. I am 37 years old today. I still don't know what to say to those young girls. Sindisiwe from Soweto. I am a mother. I fear for my daughter's safety every single minute. I'm scared to leave them with any males. I'm scared to send them to the shops. I'm scared to leave the house with them. My name is Dorothy from Kimberley. He told me it was my fault, that I made him do it. I told the nurses that I fell down the stairs. We don't have stairs. I am Jane from Centurion.
Three years ago, her life was turned upside down. Yolanda Dyantyi was a third-year hopeful student. She was a young black woman who was about to make history by being the first one in her family to get a degree. The young activist's dreams were shattered when Rhodes University imposed a life ban on her after she was found guilty of assault, kidnapping, defamation, and insubordination. Yolanda joins us to set the record straight about her lifetime ban from the university and her appeal to challenge the ban. Yolanda, welcome to Training SA.
Thank you so much for having me.
How are
Thank
you?
I'm well. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm really honored to be on the set. So thank you so much for having me.
You know,
you forgot a charge. Sorry, Lute. I just have to say there were 4 charges.
Oh, there's more?
Yeah, there's more. Defamation of character to one of the alleged students, one of the men that we were protesting against.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mabler asked you just before we went live, how many years were you at Rhodes? And you said 3, and you said you were 2
Exams away
away
from
from finishing.
Yeah.
So you are this bright-eyed girl, busy with her degree, double majors. This one moment changes your entire life, and you've spent the last 3 years fighting.
Yeah.
How has it been?
So I got excluded on a Friday, if I recall. It was 2017, November. I was doing my 3rd year. I got excluded in my absentia. So at this point, I had sat in a disciplinary process for about 5 months. Rhodes had leveled these charges, kidnapping, assault, defamation, and insubordination to the vice chancellor throughout that year in 2017 in March. And then, I got excluded on a Friday, and then everything since then has just been a bit of a roller coaster, a ride, back and forth, in and out of the courts, trying to just fight for my justice, trying to fight for a fair trial, really. But things have been messy.
So I want to circle back to those 4 charges, Yolanda, and the insubordination. It sounds like a parent and a child relationship, so I find that bizarre. But just unpack those charges for us, and I'm keen to find out if you were also criminally charged above and beyond the university disciplinary.
So in 2016, the hashtag RE referenceless protests occurred at the Rhodes University campus. How they happened was that a list of 11 names circulated on social media, dropped on one of the Facebook pages that we use as the student body, and that already, kind of just sparked the conversation, and just the conversation moved from online to on the ground. There was no call to action to say, okay, let's go protest, or that these men even were perpetrators of any sort. But we knew, we live in a community where we know who our perpetrators, are. And so, women took it upon themselves that evening on the 17th of April, where they then protested, went to race, looking for, the perpetrators that had appeared on this list. And even, throughout that protest, it was a matter of, I would speak to you and say, oh, so-and-so has also, is my perpetrator. Somebody else would speak in the crowd. And then, we tried identifying those people. And so those charges arise from that first night of the protest, where they claim that myself, I don't know how I possibly could have done this by myself, but apparently we kidnapped a few of the perpetrators.
Wait, so you guys went and kidnapped men?
We went and no, I did not kidnap. We went and we confronted alleged.
No, I'm saying that the allegation is these women went and kidnapped men
from their res, and we took them and we assaulted them and we beat them.
Men who had sexually assaulted them.
On record, most of whom were already tried and were convicted, perpetrators on campus.
Your case, did it become a criminal? Was it a
So
criminal
no,
case?
to answer that question, no, I was never arrested. I've never been arrested. Throughout Fees Must Fall, as an active student, activist. Then the anti-rape culture protest occurred in 2016. I was never arrested. Interesting enough, though, one of the perpetrators, who was an SRC councillor at the time, he went and opened a case of criminal injuria, which is defamation, shortly put, and that the investigating officer didn't even take the case on because he found that they couldn't take it on. And so the university then decided, when that was not a thing, to use that same person and the other perpetrators as a witness.
Yolanda, Mina, I'm very familiar with that campus. And I went there long time ago, And when I was there, I remember the strikes that we used to have were about, like, it was at the beginning of the year when the students are trying to get in. And then I switch on my television and I'm watching all these women telling these stories. And for me, it was wild. I have to come honest with it. It was wild. And to find out that there's now this culture of silencing women. What went wrong? When did this culture, what's going on over there?
No, I don't think anything perhaps went wrong. I think things have always been wrong, right? Because by you asking, or maybe putting it that way, it's like there's assumption that the campus was ever a safe space, right? Excuse me, a safe space for the women on campus. However, I mean, I was a student, I enrolled in 2015, and I myself, became a statistic, became a survivor in my first year, right? And so, I mean, maybe it is one thing for you to say that you weren't aware of this culture of silencing, or perhaps what was going on campus, but really, Rhodes has a history that dates far back to the 80s, really, of just protesting against rape culture and just violence against women. And so I arrived, and it was a highly political moment. I mean, again, Fees Must Fall, Rhodes Must Fall as well, both happening, I think, at UCT, at Rhodes, and with the support of Oxford University at the time. So I think that also helped in pushing the women, pushing us to actually really say, enough is enough. We're tired of being silenced. This is an issue just as much as fees are an issue.
Can I consent to stopping you right now?
Sure.
Let's say we break, and we need to talk to you. And we are going to have Nomza Mazonda, who's your lawyer, after the break. So let's get to the break and stay tuned as we unpack the story. Welcome back. We are still with Yolanda Dyantyi, and on the line we've got Unomzamo Zondo, who's the lawyer to this beautiful young lady next to me. Sawubona sis. We're good, and how are you?
I'm great.
Okay.
All right. I want to find out. I want to find out from you, Nomzamo, is Thursday, you guys are going to go back to court, right? After having been last week. Could you just recap what's been happening with the case? And I guess really what I'm wondering about is the defense that you've mounted against Yolanda's lifelong ban. Oh my goodness, technology.
Oh.
Firstly, Yolanda was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, unfortunately, Nomzamo, our tech is not on our side. We actually can't hear you at all. But so we'll have to thank you for your time this evening. But I guess we've got time to speak to you because you're right here with us. And I guess the question I'll ask, and you can chime in if you can, Nomzamo, what I want to find out from you is, do you feel that our justice system is effectively turning ordinary citizens into vigilantes, right? So you have to take things into your own hands in order to see some justice. And how do we engage with powerful structures in a way that doesn't harm us or even, hurt us?
Oh, okay, that's such an interesting question, and I haven't really thought about it in that way. That is the justice system turning ordinary citizens into somewhat vigilantes or criminals just for us to access some form of justice?
Sure.
I don't know. I think perhaps yes, yes in some way, because just judging throughout my history of going in and out of court with my legal battle, right, is that it's taken so long just to get a response, taken so long just to get dates for a review application, for a leave to appeal application, which is what we're going through right now, right? And so that on its own can be quite frustrating because there's time in between all of that, right? Life moves on, time doesn't stop. Time,
Sure.
I have to somehow keep busy. I have to somehow pick up the pieces,
Make some money,
right? Post my exclusion from university, and whilst waiting for the courts to give me a date, whilst waiting for the courts to hear my side of the story out. So yes, it is very frustrating. The justice system can be way better, can do so much better for survivors. I mean, we know this just even with the rape stats in the country, right? Just how many women do become survivors or fall victim to any form of GBV. And then when you do report, and then how long that takes to go through the courts, and if you'll even get your perpetrator convicted, right? That the stats become less and less and less throughout that process. So yes, the system really is not on our side. I personally feel, as women, and even as just survivors all around of GBV.
Baby, thank you so much. You are powerful, you are fierce, you are brave, and we wish you all the best in this case.
Thank you so much.
Keep fighting, girl.
Thank you.
Keep fighting. Thank you so much at home for tuning in. Tomorrow, we've got Rian Skuman talking to us about cybersecurity and the recent data breach. See you all tomorrow. Night.
Looking forward to that.